of the trees regarding our gender identity and sexuality. When there's no place like home, empty air, an empty establishment. Friends with Dorothy, fighting for your civil rights, out on the cruel streets tonight.
In a week's time, the Irish LGBTQ+ Pride season will kick off, and first cab off the rank, appropriately enough, will be Wexford Pride. It's taking place down there in Wexford on the 28th of May. Joining me today are two stalwarts from the LGBTQ+ community in Wexford. We welcome back Robert Crookes, who has told us about last year's Pride. Now we also have a new guest, which is John Ryan, another stalwart of the community. They're inviting everybody to come down and join them for a fabulous day in the park. And they also share with me the evolution of the community down there in Wexford. So stay tuned. We're delighted to welcome back our good friends from Wexford, which is Robert Crookes, and a new guest on the programme, which is John Ryan. Guys, welcome to LGBTQ+ Life.
Thanks very much for having us, Mick.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mick. Yeah.
Our main reason, apart from the fact that it's always terrific to talk to you guys, is the fact that Wexford Pride is coming up. Now, unless I'm mistaken, Wexford Pride is pretty much going to be the first cab off the rank this year. Is that a decision that you guys took, that you wanted to get in there early, or was it just the timing suited what's happening down in Wexford?
Well, it was more so we knew that after the last couple of years, we didn't really have very many Pride events. So we know that this summer is going to be jam-packed full of events for the whole summer. So we thought, we don't want to have to compete with other Prides. So we said, let's make sure to kind of not get in the way of other ones. So yeah, it worked then. Let's go the end of May. That'll work.
Splendid. Robert, you and I, we spoke last year, and from what I can recall, it was your inaugural Pride. I also recall you got hit with a whammy, which was pretty close to a tornado, and it had to be postponed for.
Oh, yeah.
How did it all pan out eventually? Was it the great success we all hoped it would be?
Well, yeah, I mean, last year we had just got our committee together, more or less.
Yeah.
And we really had to, stop that weekend and just go for the next weekend. And it really turned out great. We had a great day, actually.
Yeah.
There was close to 200-300 people there.
Yeah, and the weather was lovely.
The weather was gorgeous. Yeah.
It was just a great day out. It was lovely.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important, and you guys, you showed the importance of putting people's safety first, because, as it turned out, it was a disastrous weekend for everybody. It wasn't just Wexford got it. So, how important do you think that the safety of participants is?
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a huge thing, particularly when you're working in a public area, when you're working in an area that the local county council own. Health and safety is always very high up on the list anyway, in regards to all the things from a trip hazard to is there safe paths to walk around to is there parking. Like you're already ticking all those boxes anyway, and you have a contingency plan in place. It's just part of running any kind of event nowadays. You just have to be conscious of all of the different things that can go wrong. And you hope and fingers crossed that nothing will go wrong, but that's the way it goes.
Robert, when I spoke to you last year, I was a bit surprised in one sense that you were saying that the LGBT community, it was really only starting to find its voice and its presence. Did Pride last year, did it help to galvanise some of that? Did it help to energise the community? What changes have you seen over the last 12 months since the first Pride?
Well, we had the first sort of unofficial Pride in 2019,
Sure.
and then COVID sort of stopped, and then we had our first official one with the committee last year. So since then, we have tried to have some. We had a Halloween night, I think.
Yeah.
We had. We organised that in a local pub in town. We had a few coffee mornings. Then winter sort of hit in, and people weren't going out.
Well, the third lockdown as well, of course, kind of.
Yeah.
Any progress we were making, the third lockdown then kind of like, okay, yeah, now we have to start all over again. You know.
Yeah. Whoops, there we go. A dog in the background. John, can I ask you? I know Robert is. He would affectionately say he was a blow-in, but are you a native, a Wexford native?
Myself, yes. Yeah, I've lived here all my life. Yeah.
So
I didn't work here. Yeah.
what was it like then, growing up as an LGBT man in Wexford? Now you could probably, because you more fit into what we will politely call and progressively call the bear category. You possibly slipped under the radar in that sense of the word. But what was it like knowing that you were an LGBT man in an area that probably it wasn't a high visibility project, if you know what I'm saying?
No, and for many years our community, we would have had regular like monthly social nights, but it was always like, say, you know, upstairs in the local pub, or like we wouldn't have been out and as vocal and present, you know, as we would be nowadays. So it was certainly different, but there was always a large population, a large group of LGBT people in Wexford. Like, no way, probably outside of Dublin, there's probably quite a big community down here. But it certainly has changed as well. Like, obviously, since the marriage equality referendum, there's a lot more people are out and proud, and we kind of, you know, we're more present in our workplaces and every way of life, really, which is great. But obviously, as you just mentioned, being a member of the bear community, there's very little bear community down here. I know a couple of other people that would, I suppose, fit into that category. But that doesn't stop me going to Dublin and meeting up with the Dublin Bears and having a good night out with them.
Yeah. Well, I just want to share with you guys the last live Pride in Dublin. I was honoured that my friends from Dublin Bears, not that you can see I'm not much of a bear myself, they invited me to ride on the bus with them. And I tell you what, I've been to plenty of prides in Ireland and around the world. This was the most phenomenal time I had. They were the most welcoming. They were just the most fabulous community I've ever, mixed with. They were just absolutely terrific. It was a fabulous day. So if you do get it, if you're up there for Dublin Pride this year, maybe we'll see each other on the bus.
Oh, I'll be on the bus anyway. Will you?
I want to be on the bus this year. Yeah.
So we'll get you on the bus. Yeah. We'll do our best. We get you on the bus. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to.
If you happen to walk as well.
Well, I'll have to send you my video from the bus the last time around, because it was just the weather was terrific, and the company was just even better. So, John, coming back to yourself, the last time we spoke, you were lamenting, is the way I would put it, that there wasn't a lot of places for the LGBTQ community to meet up. You know, there was the occasional bar and things like that, but you were saying that you'd like to see more coffee shops, you'd like to see more restaurants that where people could just say, yeah, that's places where we go, that's places where we meet up, and nothing radical, nothing revolutionary, just places you can socialize and be yourselves. How has that panned out in the intervening 12 months?
Well, I think that's to me, Mick, sorry. So as it is, we're just really trying to build any sort of momentum. There's a lot of people who just do their own thing down here, and they're not very, they're not getting involved that much, like of the older crowd of LGBT people, I would say. Yeah. But there are a few people starting to come out, and we're starting to, like, COVID really put a bit of a job on all of that, all of our plans. But we're starting again anyway. Yeah. And we're each Sunday now, at 2 p.m. on the quayside, we're meeting up, and it's a weekly thing. and it's there for anybody who wants to join and just say hello and have a cup of coffee, you know. So we're trying to be more visible.
Sure. John, you guys, you're both what I would call mature gentlemen in that sense of the word. Are you attracting, and I don't want that word to be misinterpreted, but are the younger people gravitating towards an organised LGBT community, or do they still go off and do their own thing and maybe get the train to Dublin on a weekend or Waterford or wherever?
Actually, no, the younger community, teenagers and 20-year-olds, are really getting involved. And we do have a couple of younger people on our committee which help, but they are getting involved because whereas our generation, we had to go to Dublin for a night out, they don't have to do that in Wexford or Waterford or anywhere else now. Like, and it is great. There's a really active youth group in Wexford. There's probably 30 or 40 members in the youth group in Wexford town, and they're fantastic. And like last year, they came to Pride last year. There must have been 50 or 60 teenagers at our Pride event last year. It was absolutely phenomenal to see so many young people coming out in all sense of the words and enjoying themselves, like, and meeting the older members of the community as well. And I suppose just having that feeling of community and family last year was fantastic. And that's what I love about Pride is the way that, you know, you can get together and you can, a bit like you on the Dublin bus, the Dublin Bear bus, like, you just get such a great feeling of friendship and community, like.
Well, not only that, and perhaps one of the reasons why that was so good for me is the response that the bus was getting from people on the streets was just, I mean, it was just so energizing. I hadn't experienced anything like it in that sense of the word. John, coming back to what we were talking about, venues to meet, how is the business community? Are they starting to wake up to, if nothing else, what we would call the pink euro? I mean, there's good business here for you know, some entrepreneurs with a bit of foresight. They realise that the LGBT plus community not only has the individuals got money to spend, but we like to spend it too, and we like to spend it on certain things. Are they listening to what you guys are organising?
Yeah, no, they're very good. We've had a really good response both from the county council and the elected members of our council and local businesses as well. Most places in business that we've gone to have given us something, whether it be financial aid, whether it be vouchers for a raffle prize. Everybody has been really, really supportive to us. And I think particularly in rural Ireland, no community-based event can happen without that kind of support. So I think probably from Wexford, it's probably not as much that they're supporting an LGBT event, they're just supporting a local community event in the same way that they support the GA club and all the other kind of things that go on as well, like, you know.
Clearly you've got a council there, you've also got TDs, and dare I say it, you've got one of the more high-profile MEPs as well. We know that he's a big supporter of the football. Is he also a big supporter of our community?
Who's that now?
No. Well, we haven't seen him supporting us in any way.
So he's got no material support. That's disappointing a bit. Look, I'm not... who knows? Maybe he's busy doing other things in the meantime.
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
Yeah. So... Yeah. Coming back then, John, you're one of the things I've noticed over the last 12 months, there's a lot more emerging groups coming out in rural Ireland now. I was talking to people in Portlaoise, I was talking to people in Youghal, I was talking to people in Mayo, Leitrim. Are you starting to get some sort of synergy between these groups? We mentioned this the last time, or is it still a bit Dublin-centric?
So that was the Ireland Pride Network, I think, we mentioned last time. And as far as I know, we as such have been on the periphery of that. The constitution, I believe, isn't fully worked out yet.
Yeah,
So we have a lot to do ourselves before we can really
sure.
consider to join that, I suppose, fully, But at least there's a little bit of a connection there. We can ask for certain types of help through that organization. There's a good few Pride groups that give us some information here and there if we ask for it. And there's certain ones have been very, very helpful,
Yeah, Limerick Pride have been very good to us.
Yeah.
But Dublin Pride have also been good. Dublin Pride over the last couple of years have been giving both financial and expertise support to different Pride groups. And that's really important as well. So as you said, yes, Pride can be a little bit Dublin centric, but the fact now that Dublin Pride is making a specific effort both last year and this year to reach out to the other smaller prides, it's really good. And obviously their expertise and knowledge is invaluable to us, Yeah.
I suspect that if they were to arrive, they'd be very welcome. How important would it be to be able to get, say, you've got one in Waterford. I know that there's one in Youghal, there's one in Portlaoise. I think there's one in Carlow as well. How important would it be to get a bit of solidarity from these groups, just so that they could march and be there on the day and have a day out with you guys?
Well, we're not actually having a parade as such. We're just having the
day in the park.
Yeah, the day in the park. And I've been told certainly that some of Carlow Pride will be coming down. So some of Dublin Pride will be coming down. I'm not sure if I've heard anyone else.
No, I've heard anyone else. Yeah.
But we certainly would love any of the prides to come down and enjoy the day with us. Yeah, it'd be great. John was saying earlier to me that he'd love to go around the country and visit as many prides as possible this year.
I want to try get to as many as I can. Wave a Wexford flag and wave a bear flag.
You're talking my language, John. That's why Robert will have heard me last year. I'm trying to let as many people know about as many prides as there is, because they're now springing up in a lot of smaller places, and I think that's really important that we all join them. So coming back to the day itself, do you need volunteers? Because whenever I talk to some of the smaller prides, they're saying, oh yeah, we'd love volunteers. So there's the platform for you to put out a pitch for volunteers to come and help you. How might they be able to do that, and what might they be able to contribute?
Well, we have actually joined in with the IVOL Ireland. It's Irish Volunteers Ireland. And we have put up a post there. We put up a post on our community group. Well, that's a separate group to Wexford Pride, but it's our community group as well, and we definitely would like volunteers. We would like much more sponsorship as well, I have to say, from a lot of businesses. And now we did get about 8 or 9 public representatives giving us either some form of either finance or support or sponsorship in some ways. There's another, 24 of them, which, I'd like them to put their hands in their pockets and start helping the LGBT community.
Is it an expensive day to put on, John? I mean, we all turn up at these and we watch the entertainment and we enjoy it and have a great time. But from the point of view, guys, I mean, leaving aside any fees for the artists, there's probably insurance, there's probably a whole range of costs that nobody actually sees. Is it something that is manageable, or is it something that's very difficult to meet the funds for?
Well, it's manageable in that, like the old saying, you cut your cloth to suit your measure. Sure. And that's what we've done. So we've only spent money that we currently have. So we won't be going into debt. But it's all about like shopping around as well. So say, for instance, like we were looking at, renting our marquees, and the prices of them are phenomenal. But then we actually found a company that sells them, and to buy our own marquees was actually half the price of renting them. You know, so it's all a matter of shopping around and cutting your cloth to suit your measure as well. And, you know, but with the acts as well, like, you know, you do have to, because we got some great ideas and, you know, great people coming to us with stuff that they could do and all, but we couldn't invite everybody. We had to pick and choose again within the budget that we had, like, you know. But obviously, I suppose, like every Pride and every event, you build and build and build it. Like, and hopefully you get to thousands of people and, you know, thousands of euros of a budget. But yeah, baby steps to start with.
Are you working towards a parade? Because generally, my experience is that once people see something moving through their streets, they start to identify with it. They don't have to be LGBT, but the parents, the family, the extended families. Is that something that you're working towards, or is because I know I've been to Wexford on a few occasions. I even went to a pop festival there in the late 60s or early 70s. The streets are a bit narrow, but still, it would be damn good to there's something empowering about marching in walking in a group.
We'd love that. We haven't planned it this year, but hopefully next year we will go for that. I mean, that's an ideal, isn't it?
Yeah, and to have it all the way down the Wexford quayfront, so you're very visible. You can make as much noise as you want, then even actually have your Pride event on the quayfront, because there's a big public area there that you could have the event on. Like, so no, it would be really good. And again, it would be more visible. But now I have to say, now the venue we're in this year it's an absolutely great venue. It was only opened a couple of years ago. It's an accessible venue. There's loads of parking. It's just a really nice, big, clean area, playground. There's, you know, it's disabled toilets, like everything that you need for your public event is already there. So it's the Min Ryan Park. That's the name of the place. Min, as in MIN, Min Ryan Park. It's an absolutely fantastic venue. So we're happy with where we are this year.
Yeah. Any relation, John?
No relation. Min was
There's no brown envelopes at all.
No, Min was a very influential lady in Wexford about 100 years ago, so it's named after her. I won't go into all the details of her illustrious career, but she was a phenomenal Wexford lady that did a huge amount for the people of Wexford.
Indeed. Just before we talk about the day itself and the entertainment you've got, media coverage tends to help greatly if they can be on side and they can even just give you a mention. What sort of feedback are you getting from the media? What sort of support are you getting from the media down there?
We have the local radio stations. They're on board. The Beat FM in Watford have already have pre-recorded a talk with us, and we'll be doing Southeast Radio. That's the local Wexford radio next week, and then we'll be in the local newspapers as well. But there's probably a bit of a disconnect there because, say, a lot of the younger people that we might want to attract don't read the local newspaper. You know, probably don't listen to the local radio. So again, that's why the socials, all of that is very important to be doing as well. You kind of have to cover a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Something just before we talk about the day itself. Rosslare, we all know it's a brilliant port. It's very much connected to South Wales. Anybody, we'll send it out to South Wales. I guess they'd be also very welcome if they were to schlep over for a day. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, yeah. God,
yeah,
that would be lovely.
Yeah, we get loads of Welsh rugby players over. We'll be delighted.
and as we know from Garrett Thomas, they're not all heterosexual either.
That's it.
No. Yeah.
Moving on from the day, the people who will be looking at the video, they'll see that I've got some of the artistes who will be performing on the day. Tell us about who you've got there to entertain on the 28th of May.
Will I go?
Yeah, go ahead, John.
Okay, so I'm thrilled to say that Makia contacted us to see if we were interested. Yeah. They have been absolutely brilliant to communicate and deal with. So we're just so excited to see this group come down. I saw their documentary on RTE Player, I think it was, and it was really, really good. Yeah, we're really excited.
So tell us about some of the art. Just give a shout out to some of the artists you'll have on the day, because we like to give them some recognition.
Okay, so we have a DJ called El Styra, who is well known within the bear community, does all the bear events, and is actually doing the Dublin Bear event in Dublin this year.
And was on the bear bus in 2019.
Yes, yeah. And then we have a new artist called Alec Wilson, who has just launched his debut album. So he's going to be doing some solo music. And then he works with the group as well called, hang on, I have their name here. Peer Pleasure, I think.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And then we have the local youth group are performing, and then we have performances, poetry and reading and singing from other local artists as well. So we've a bit of everything.
And we also have comedy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell me this, because I'll get slapped around from some of the people I know if I don't ask you this question. Is your bill, is it fixed at this stage, or are there still vacancies on the for performers? You don't have to. It's just that there's a couple of people who've asked me about getting on Dublin Pride, and I said I'll ask. So I'll just ask you guys the same question. Mm-hmm.
Well, I was talking to Veronica. She's one of our committee members, and she's
the stage manager.
She'll be the stage manager on the day. And she said to me today that really at this stage it's very, very close. There's a few minutes here and there, maybe.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to see, isn't it? That that you're not scrabbling around at the last minute. So for people coming from Dublin, I gather you can get a direct train. Is that correct?
Yeah, you can get a train to Wexford about 3 times during the day. There's also a bus every half hour.
Okay.
Because you've got Bus Éireann, and they run every hour.
Sure.
But then there's a local bus company called Wexford Bus, and they run every half hour on the hour. So basically every 30 minutes there is a bus to Wexford for about 25, 27 euros around their return.
Yeah, for people like myself, which is the most efficient way? Is it better to go by train, or is it better to go by bus?
I think it's pretty similar, is it?
Yeah,
I would go by bus always.
Yeah, because the bus is more frequent, so you have your return ticket. You can kind of go back whenever you want. Whereas because the train is only 3 times a day, you're a bit more tied to the train.
Yeah,
and the bus goes on quite late at night as well.
Yeah.
Tell us then, guys, before we go, where and when is it happening?
Okay, so we're in a place called Min Ryan Park. That's M-I-N, Min Ryan Park, on the 28th of May. The live show on stage will be from 12 o'clock until 6 p.m. And then on Saturday night, then Makia are actually doing a drag show in one of the local venues. It's called the Boat Club. So that's going to be great as well. So really, if you're just there for the day, for the family-friendly picnic in the park, awesome. If you're traveling down, if you want to stay overnight, we've got the show at later on in the evening as well. So yeah, lots of stuff there. Yeah,
Makia will be announcing, I think today as well, the details of the Saturday night.
Yeah.
John and Robert, it's a delight to have you guys back again. We wish you all the very best. I'll do my best to get down this time because last year was a bit of a hit and miss for us all. But it's terrific to see that Wexford Pride is growing from strength to strength, and we wish you all the very best. And thank you for your time today.
Thanks very much. Thanks, Mick. Thank you.
We'd love to see you coming down. Do half dozen vox pops with everybody around for the day, and there's another show for you.
There you go. John, Robert, you take care. We will talk again soon.
Thanks very much.
Bye-bye.
Friends with Dorothy come out off the sidewalk and onto the street to the sound of those legendary